Welcome back, fixed blade TwoSun fans. Oh, I gave it away. Yeah, and it's not very usual that this channel is doing TwoSun fixed blade reviews because you don't see too many fixed blades from TwoSun. You actually see a lot of kitchen and chef's knives, believe it or not. And you can pick those up for 40, 50 bucks, and they are great chef's knives, kitchen knives. Um, I use a few of them around the house, and they're great. Anyway, we're talking today about David Chen. David Chen has designed a number of knives for TwoSun, and he has designed a number of knives for a company called Wepe, W-E-P-E. I'll be showing you one of those today in my reviews out there on that particular blade. When I got this knife, I reached out to David, and we frequently chat with each other on Instagram. And what David had to say about this knife is, and let's pull it out of the sheath. It's really interesting for TwoSun. I don't know that TwoSun's ever done a dagger like this before, but it's a real nice one, and it took me by surprise because I do like tactical knives. I do like daggers, as you know by watching the channel. David said this is a lightweight, portable, tactical straight knife, light yet visually powerful. And I think some of this is coming through translation software. I'm not sure if David does speak a lot of English, but anyway, this is a design that demonstrates the beauty of symmetry. The grooves on the handle are designed to provide a firmer grip and ventilation. Interesting. Because the size is required to be short, the handle is relatively short and the hand grip is insufficient. I wouldn't call it insufficient, but he means that it's short, while making the blade look not too short. So he's also indicating that the blade has been water cut, not just blanked. But if I'm getting him correctly, he's saying that the double edge bevels, and he talks a little about the sheath. I don't want to get too into my conversation with him. But somewhere throughout his messages, I got the fact that this bevel, this grind somehow was done by water jet. I hadn't heard of that yet, but it's possible. At any rate, there she be. And this is called the TwoSun TS518. There it is. We get the light right. It's in 14C28N. And these are available at White Mountain as of today. Can't promise for the future. So if you see this review in a year and don't complain you can't find them. All reviews when it comes to knife inventories are timely. So 50 bucks, 50 bucks on White Mountain. That's pretty well unheard of, not so much for the materials, but for the design. It is an excellent dagger. Look at that. Now, what he's saying is that he's using these choil areas, for lack of a better word, or the definition, to allow you to have more grip, even though the handle is relatively short. And my medium-large hand, I don't find the handle really too short. You do see a lot of Japanese knives, tantos, where they did this purposely so that you had full command of the handle and there was nothing sticking out there that could be used to pry it out of your hand in close encounters, shall we say. So it is a Chinese knife. David is Chinese too, by the way, if you can get that from his name. Yangjiang, China is where all the TwoSuns are made. They're a highly underrated brand. They do excellent, excellent work, and I'm going to show you some examples of David's other designs from both TwoSun and the company called Wepe, W-E-P-E. Anyway, I keep saying anyway, but that's true. Anyway, what do we got for dimensions? It is an 8-inch overall knife, perfectly 8 inches. It is, I would call it 4.3 inch blade. That's a good size blade. The edge, however, is 3.3. Okay. You don't want to worry too much about how much edge you get on a double edge, because the primary function is thrusting, sticking. And it does that extremely well. See if I can do a paper test in a little bit. Meanwhile, handle thickness in inches, 0.54. Blade stock in inches, 0.15. Pretty good stock. And that is 3.5 millimeters. The weight of the knife alone is, in ounces, 4.6, rounding up. And what kind of an edge did it come through with? Well, it looks like a pretty symmetrical grind, and it's a wide blade for a dagger, so maybe it's sharp. If you slice correctly, yep, like that, it will work. And yeah, both edges about the same. Not particularly aggressive. That can be changed, as I always say, on a strop. We got a relatively smooth edge, but it is a kind of a hair shaving sharp edge. You can feel a lot of drag on the blade sideways. The old thing the barbers used to do is this, and that drags pretty good on the thumbnail, doesn't slide. Okay, so again, gripping this knife, and I'm going to do something down the line about fixed blades and the grips that they put on the fixed blades. Yes, you got a lanyard hole should you want it. I'll get into the grip again in a moment, but let's take a look at the sheath. I have not found a poorly formed Kydex sheath from TwoSun yet. And I've probably seen half a dozen of their fixed blades. Obviously, the kitchen knives don't come with Kydex. It would be convenient if they did. You could bring them out on the camping and so forth. They did put kind of, a large, fairly cumbersome Tech-Lock style belt attachment. Works well. This can be, this can be slid over to lock it, and it's pretty tight. Pull it back to open it. That's going to set it pretty far off the belt. Trend lately has been to use DCC clips or Tech-Locks, not Tech-Locks, Utila clips. I think that's it. Losing the names, sorry. But you know what I mean. Take this off and attach your either belt strap or basically preferred method of carrying. You've got lots of grommets. All right. Get you out of the way. So really nice sheath, solid, doesn't rattle, by the way. Can I show that? Sure I can. Zero rattle. If I force it, I get a little bit, but no rattle. In case you're sneaking up on somebody, guys. And it's easily thumbed off, even though there's no particular thumb ramp. These will serve the function very nicely. You could drop that in the pocket without the clip on there. Pical, beautiful. I would hold it right here. I wouldn't choke down at all. Forward pointing grip, as we refer to in Filipino martial arts as sak. at least in Piccati tertia, you can definitely grab it there. You don't want to go much further, but the heel of the blades are angled forward, so you'd really need to get up on those points to cut yourself. So you can get a firm grip in there. If you don't want to get up there, you can get right into this recessed area here. Call that a double choil or not, that's up to your definitions. But I mean, this would work quite nicely, right? You could still use it in a hammer grip. You could even get closer in a hammer grip. Is it going to slide? He did a nice thing here with the tapering, right? And if you've seen James Williams' videos on using his Japanese tanto style knives, Osirako Zukuri, etc., he'll palm it, all right? So if you're worried about sliding, I've seen him drive it through steel car hoods and whatnot using this grip. So if you palm it, the thrust is going to be fine. I think even if you get into this area here and you thrust, it's still, I don't feel anything moving. Somebody mentioned recently, and I think I mentioned it on one of my last videos on a TCAL knife, try a screwdriver. Try a standard old screwdriver, get a good grip on it, and then drive it into something hard, like a board or whatnot. See how far you slip. See if you do slip, especially if you cap your thumb. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that technique, but the knife itself, we've got a pretty rough looking micarta there. It's nice, really no threads sticking up. Sometimes you see that. So I would say it's a pretty decent, looks like a canvas micarta. There is your TwoSun logo. Looks like end of a bullet case, shell casing. And you can remove these screws and take the handle off, it would appear, although I haven't. Deep groove here, almost like a fuller. That's got some pretty good depth to it. Contoured handle, nice. Plenty of thick blade stock, as I showed you, 3.5 millimeters. And this just feels perfect. You want a good Pikal knife, and you don't want to have to go hook and get a specialized one. This is what we were using in the Philippine arts back in the 80s when I started learning Filipino martial arts in Piccati tertia. You can cut forward, you can pull in. You don't necessarily need to have a claw-style knife for Pikal, and this gives you the ability to hold it no matter which way you pick up a dagger. That's one of the beauties of a dagger. It's symmetrical. The handle's symmetrical on this. The blade is symmetrical. All right, getting long-winded. I tend to do that. So let's get David's name up here. Oh, he could play spin a bottle with it too, guys. That would be interesting. I'm sure it's already been done. Here are a couple other David Chen designs. This is also for TwoSun. This is called the Shadow Snake. It is the TS518 in M390. It is a beautiful, getting all gurgly again, old man voice, what can I tell you? Beautiful clip point, reverse tanto, I don't know, deep belly with this swirled green G10 in here. It's not any particular brand. It's probably their generic stuff. Titanium. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Full finger choil on this one. Nice jimping. There's a review out there on my channel for this one. This is one, speaking of Wepe, this is called the Defense Master in D2. This is one David sent me for review a while ago. This is a humongous, massive, heavy knife with a compound grind. I'm surprised they haven't been more popular. I mean, it's a beast. It is a beast. It's a liner lock. It's got great lockup, stone washed blade, and so forth. Those are a few examples of David's design work. Love this one. This is a keeper. This is gorgeous. Smooth as can be, frame lock. Let's pull out some other examples. Here is one from NC Tactical, I think it is. Has got nothing to do with NC North Carolina blades. In fact, I think this is a Russian made or designed SOLX. There it is, Spectre. It's the Spectre. Beautiful stonewash finish. Very similar kind of Coke bottle style handle on that one. Then we've got the Tops Ice Dagger. And in this case, ICE stands for in case of emergency, I'm told. It's an interesting ring dagger, but I'm bringing these out because they're about the same configuration, about the same profile roughly. They serve the same purpose. They're all double-edged daggers. They're about the same size. And then finally, and kind of out of the class and price point of these, but I brought it out anyway, is the Bastinelli Tellum, which is, I think Tellum is a spear or a lance. One of my favorites. Unusual knife in that you've got a full-sized handle with lots of grippiness to it, short blade, and partly serrated, either for your pical stuff, for ripping, and for controlling, right? This way, capture and control, or simply cutting rough stuff, strapping, and so on and so forth. So you've got a defensive knife that is also somewhat EDC. So those are my examples of comparable daggers. And let's get these put away. And we'll wrap it up. Is it a Piercy knife? Oh, ever so much so. No problems whatsoever. And this was my own purchase from White Mountain. If you shop at White Mountain, you can get 10% off by using my discount code OG-Blade or Old Sword, all one word. Let's get David's name on the parting shot. And right over here, right now, you see my logo. Click on that if you haven't subscribed. It'll bring you to the link where you can do exactly that. And I hope you like this video. Don't forget to give it a like. I'll be back soon. Be well and stay safe.